Welcome to my cake kitchen. I am Gladys, and over here we make simple, informative tutorials to help you navigate baking and decorating easily. I don't have an apron on. I don't know why I'm drawing attention to it, because I love my apron, but I put it in the wash, and yeah, that's the whole thing. Great to have you back. Tapita in the chat. What are we doing today? We have streusel. Okay, I had plans for us to bake a cake, but it's pointless to bake a cake when I'm literally hoarding cakes. Look. So no, let's try and get rid of some cakes. So essentially we're trying to get rid of some cakes. If you have any idea, I mean, I could literally just pick the whole thing and put it in the bin, but that would be waste. So let's see what this is. If it's moldy inside, we'll throw it away. If it's not, we will reuse it for something else. I don't know what else we'll be doing, but hey, welcome to the place. This cake has been here for a very long time. So long, in fact, we should get rid of it. Okay, Steph is back. Steph, how are you? Steph, you've been out there eating. Look, this is so hardened now. Right. Guess what I'm gonna do? We're gonna get a black bean. Now we're gonna try and take the fondant pieces and then put them in the black bin. Okay, that's what we're doing. So if we manage to strip this cake, here's the thing. I think it's the idea of hoarding that I really don't care for. Like, the idea of having to hoard a cake is bothersome. But that's what I do. So we have a black bag to the side. Let's get in and see what the cake looks like on the inside. It might not look appetizing, but stay with me. Stay with me. I don't know what I'll find on the inside. If it's really that bad, we'll throw it away. But I mean, you're here for the experience with me, okay? I don't think this is a good idea to even carve. Oh, it's moldy. No. We are not doing anything. Okay, people? It is mold. This is moldy. Okay, look. If you don't see me talking, it should tell you everything you need to know, okay? This is not good. This needs to go in the bin so far away. Okay? Okay. I am glad I did it though, because if I hadn't, streusel. Okay. There you go. That says poor streusel. Time for him to cross the rainbow bridge. Yeah, streusel. If you have any greetings, pass it on, and streusel will take it with him. But right now, streusel needs to go. Okay, streusel needs to go. All right. Okay, streusel, we are sorry, but you said, oh, he was a good doggy, wasn't he? Streusel was a good doggy. Okay. Okay. Streusel was a good dog. I just want to take a board so that I can reuse it. That's all. And that's it. And just like that, a whole cake is finished. He lived a great life in the good old kitchen where he was deserted and left to feel so poorly and unwanted. Is that a great life? Anyway, let's see. Okay, Streusel is gone. The board is back. Streusel lived a great life. So people, now that we've got rid of Streusel, what are we going to do for Christmas? Shall we make a Grinch themed cake? Because we have cakes to go, you know. I have quite a few cakes. I say a few. There's a lot of cake that needs dispersing. I am just too lazy and unmotivated to do anything sometimes. Okay. So Streusel is gone. Just like that. There's nothing to show for Streusel but a board. But you know what? That is when creativity begins. Streusel, may your very kind soul rest well, okay? We are off to the next. What shall we do? Oh, Tabitha, you really truly love Streusel. Look at you defending how well Streusel. He has been left in the kitchen to oversee all the shenanigans. That's a great life. I mean, Tabitha, you couldn't have put it better. Thank you. That's kind of reassuring. I now feel, I don't feel so bad anymore for just chucking Streusel away. Right, now that Streusel is gone, what should we do next? Clearly, we are not going to leave our friend here to get moldy. So shall we cut into our, I am thinking, what are we doing with this one? Shall we cut into this? Because I'm like, I don't want this to be moldy at all. Mini Kali, oh, thank you. How are you? I tell you, somebody who will be happy when they come and Streusel is gone, the big producer. Because one of these days he said, oh, I cannot wait for the day this dog will be gone. I'm like, don't be mean. Don't be mean to my pet. Right. So shall we cut into our, because what we definitely don't want to do, yeah, it's a steak cake. You know what? Shall we cut it now? Shall we cut it later? Let's vote. How many people are for cutting the steak cake? Put a hand up in the chat, okay? So we have the steak cake. We will have to cut it, but we'll have to prep. You can't be bothered to think about Christmas yet, Peter. You would be hella mad when you hear that our sister Tatiana, she has set up a Christmas tree already. When I heard it yesterday, I was like, girl, you were really excited. Right, let's see what I want to do over here. I have a few things I want to dispose of. And what you see here, the perils of a small kitchen. It's okay. You will see what I'm doing in a moment. Tabitha, you said what, the actual L? Yeah, you are about Thanksgiving month. My dear, Tatiana has her Christmas tree set up already, and she wasn't worried about telling us yesterday. She told us all about it yesterday, and I was like, wow, girl, you are ahead of us, because some of us can even not think through Christmas so much right now. Look. Oh, Christ, what have I done? All right. This is going to be a mess. Okay. I am making some Rice Krispie treats. I need some cooking oil on my hands. There you go. Okay. I need some more. Can you see? It's a struggle. I need some more marshmallows. I need some more marshmallows. I'll have to go pick up some more marshmallows, but well, looks like this will have to wait, because I need some marshmallows to get this done. It is going to be used for molding, and I haven't actually come to, I am not actually sure what exactly I am molding, but hey, welcome to my kitchen in a day of confusion, where I killed my little pet. No, I didn't kill the pet. I literally discarded a dog cake that has been sitting here and has grown moldy. Okay, that's all. That's all I've done today. Tabitha is Tabitha, you need a cuppa. Tabitha, we missed you yesterday, you know, because I was here yesterday. I don't know if you know what, let's make a cup of tea. Let me sit down. Because you know what I really wanted to do, I wanted us to get rid of the cakes that I make, like from the steak cake to the dog cake, just so I can rid of some cake, and then we can start some Christmas themed cakes, like some artistic ones and some simple ones. The reason being, we are still continuing our Ganache series, and November is going to be a very hectic month for me for cakes in general, and I'm going to try and still incorporate the Ganache series. And the Ganache subject covers how to color Ganache, how to fix Ganache problems, stenciling with Ganache, everything Ganache essentially, and that is going to be ongoing. Today I wanted us to make some Ganache cake, some Ganache topics, because yesterday I came and I spent time sitting there for us to talk about the science of Ganache, how to use Ganache, what actually Ganache really is, and then we nailed down the details of that. And I'm hoping that will lend to the videos as they develop, and occasionally without tutorials I can come and give you like a very sort of class-based talking head subject matter, so that it will help the experience and also provide you value. And that is what we did yesterday. And today I wanted us to go to coloring Ganache, and I wanted to start with coloring Ganache plain and coloring Ganache light colors, just so that you can also see my entire process for coloring Ganache. Unfortunately, I made the order and I've had some postage inconveniences, so the items haven't been delivered, and I have car problems, so I can't even go to the nearest shop to pick myself some of the items I needed. So it's kind of thrown my day off in a little bit of disarray. So then I had to kind of like reschedule my plans, and it's unlikely we will be doing Ganache tomorrow. So the Ganache series will probably continue next week. In the meantime, we still have to utilize the cakes that we have, and I've told you that we are not chasing trends and the views. If you're here for us, you're here for us. If you enjoy what we do, you are here, you enjoy what we do. I'm not going to like stress myself to chase the trends. And so you are actually invited into my cake life, right? Where on a good day, today for instance, when my morning began, I don't want to ruin this, but I am filming like a vlog where I am chronicling some of the struggles I have as a creative who struggles with attention sometimes. Like there are moments that I want to go through the month and ace everything I want to do on my to-do list, and then I set goals and I fall over the wayside. It's crazy. I may look like I have it together, but there's a lot of chaos in my life, right? So today I spent time doing that. And if I wasn't on a live, I would still be doing something cake related, either admin, emails, and everything else, scripting, you know. So I say all that to say the plans for this week has kind of shifted a little bit, and I'm just trying to kind of reset my focus so that we can still have value from what we are doing. There's Linda here. Linda Justice says, when it rains, it pours. You're glad you found us. Thank you, Linda. Is it pouring? Shall we grab a cup of tea and invite you to a sitting so you can tell us what is really pouring in your life? That is if you don't mind sharing. But thank you for being here, Linda. Lollipop, thanks for having. Look, do I look confused? Yeah, I am. Okay, the dog cake is gone. Lollipop, you missed the streusel. Streusel breathes his last, and he's gone. He got moldy. Let's get ourselves a cup of tea. Tabitha, I think as I make cup of tea, you need to come and sit in the front first and tell us how October ended. What was it with October, how it started and how it ended, and let's hold your hand. For me, October, the first part seemed great. I had plans, and then it all fell apart at once. I may have looked like I have it together, but you may have noticed, especially when YouTube went left on me. That was like a crazy period. So we are starting November, right? But we are still trying to catch up. We are, okay? So here is our steak cake, shall we? Cake, shall we cut it? Cake. Because you know what? If you leave me to it, this cake will get moldy and I will not do anything with it. It will just get moldy. So cake. Let's hack the cake into two. There you go. We went and we bought some steak. Okay. Oh, yeah, that's our steak cake. It's all cake. The bottom is cake. And we made it into cake. Look. So that's our steak cake. What? We could make this into something, okay? Except I'm not trying to think. What can we make this into? Can you see? I feel sad letting the cake go. Okay, steak. We have 4 parts of steak. All right. A steak sandwich. Whew. We'll have to do something today. I think I have plans. I do. Anyway, That's our steak cake. No. No, don't be. No. Lollipop, I'll do anything for you, but not eat a stale cake, okay? No. Ah, we have a fake cake. It's stale. All right. Shall we put it away now? You know what? I think I feel queasy at the thought of it. I feel queasy at the thought of it. But look, we've cut it now. Let's put it away. Actually. Ooh, okay, let me just... Does it still look like it? Does it look like... Does it look like me? If you're not looking at the cake parts. Does it look like... Okay, let's rid of this now. All done. I still have some stale cake to go, but not carved yet. Those are yeah, the Rice Krispie treats, I will come back and mold into something else. Okay, people. Tapeta is saying something rather serious in the chat. Linda, hello there, my lovely. How are you? Right. Okay. Whew. The whole world has gone mad. I wonder why. I have plans, you know. I have plans. There are... Thank you, Linda. Linda said the cake looked exact. Well, it was, the steak cake was made on a live right here. So you can go and check that live out. It's, I think it's the... It will be last Sunday. Last Sunday, yeah. So it would be... Today's Tuesday. So that will be the second or third live counting from today backwards. So go and check it out. It's actually a very simple cake to make. With tips in there for you. So yeah, when you can, go check it out. In the meantime, it seems like Tapeta, a lot is happening on your side of the world. Not that we're not having issues over here, but sometimes it depends on what the news is carrying. And at the moment, there seems to be a lot happening over there. There is something about these are subjects that I am not adept with, but I think I understand the idea. Is it the equivalence of like food stamps that are being like stopped and stuff like that? Goodness me, it must really be hard. I hope whilst all of those things are happening, we can still like stop for a minute and just switch off. I cannot imagine how hard it must be to constantly live in fear, especially when you depend on a system that is completely let down. So, wow, federal employees are not being paid. Seems like there's a lot of chaos in your side of the world at the moment. You know what? I think there's a lot of chaos in the world. You know what? Let me go make myself a cup of tea. There you go. And by the way, I made myself a pizza for lunch. That's just by the way. I made myself a pizza, a homemade pizza. Lollipop, I got mine, the pizza trays. It took me a long time though. I used to just I used to use my oven, one of my oven trays that I reserved for pizza making. But I picked these ones from Lidl. I think there were some of the Lidl special buys. I got them for I think $2.99 or something. I got them for $2.99. So you can go pick them up. It's really lovely, and it actually helps because there are holes in them. You can use them for the pizza, and it does actually help the crust. Because when I used to use the oven trays, I had to pre-bake the pizza base first before adding the tomato, just so that I don't have a soggy base, if you like. But since I got these ones, they've really improved the quality of my pizza. So yeah, I highly recommend those. I got them from Lidl. You can actually get them from Amazon if you checked. But if you don't make pizza that much, I do though. I think at the moment pizza and bread making is a staple at home, and I picked myself a bread making book. So I've been making focaccia and homemade bread. I don't think I am going to advance to actually wanting to be like a proper bread maker now. But I think it comes in handy. Like when you make homemade pizza and you can choose your own toppings on it, it's really lovely. And I can sit with that with a bowl of salad or something nice to the side, and it's really, really nice. So yeah, I would recommend that. But yeah, and you know what? Having to make your own food sometimes costs in time, but if you have the time, it's worth it. Because you know what, my food budget has gone really lower now because I cook a lot when I have time, you know. So for instance, this is what since we're talking food stamps and how we are all feeling the squeeze and we're pinching our pennies, you can never go wrong with your own basic recipes. And I find that from pasta to pizza and bread, it is really, really easy. I mean, I baked focaccia twice last week. I made a batch of dough, left it to proof, and then split it and then made one, and I made my own ham. Anyway, that's just by the way. I made my own ham. Like I picked a gammon from little. You know what? Carbs, meat, veg, sauce, and dinner. Yes. But you see, the difference is, even though, I mean, I'm not the person you should be taking nutrition advice from. I'm just going to sip my tea and mind my business. Because I make cakes. I have no business telling you anything about diet, right? But whilst there is like a lot of conversation about limiting your carbs and everything else in between, if you cook your own meals, you are still making a healthier, you are still having a healthier version of the carbs compared to the processed stuff we buy in the shop. Now, I'm not a food snob. No, I'm not at all. We're just having a conversation about food choices, you know. So if you made your own pasta at home, even though it's a lump of carbs sitting on a bowl, and you bought like tin tomatoes and not the pre-made passata, and you made your own pasta sauce, you are still on the healthier side compared to if you still went to the shop and bought yourself the labeled healthy, highly processed meals. Do you see what I'm saying? So it is neither here nor there. I think that, and this is just based on my opinion, when the conversation about highly processed foods are had, I cannot integrally relate to it, because as an African, you grow up cooking. It's a thing. Like, you cook at home in the evening. Of course, that has changed. Okay, my life here has changed. I am not always turning the pot on in the evenings, but I bet you know who does all the time every evening? My mom in Ghana. Every evening her stove is on and she's cooking fresh food, because that's the culture within which she lives. In fact, people, like most people back home, at least I'll speak for my mom and my family lifestyle, like, part of your day involves actually taking time out for cooking fresh food. So say whatever my mom was doing out in town, whether she was selling something or she was at the market, her priority will be to finish from the market, come home and set the fire and cook the food. Now, her lifestyle lent to that too, but it was also a value she had to uphold, because by coming to turn the cooker on to start cooking is how she taught me and my siblings how to cook, you know. So, like, coming here, the treat of your highly processed food was just something to do for a minute, and then I realized that buying processed food, it's not a health thing, it's a value thing and what I am conditioned thing. Because when you grow up eating a certain kind of food, it's hard to just completely give that up for something else. So my diet is not generally highly processed, but it's not an intentional health conscious choice. It is just because I'm Ghanaian. So, you know, am I making sense? I see you are asking me questions. Okay. I was seasoning. Steph is saying, this is why I'm always practicing gardening and very interested in baking my own stuff. I'm looking to learn how to process chickens before I think of... You know what? Good for you. I mean, the homestead whole something is amazing. Quite frankly, I don't think that is me though, because I wouldn't know what to do with chicken. Leave me with cake, I'll be fine. Okay, I'm not going to have a coop and start having chickens. No. For those who do, great. And yeah, I will happen. It's, you know what, I think I'm saying that to make a point that the conversation here is not trying to be precious. It's just trying to acknowledge people's cultural preferences, you know, especially when it comes to food. Because you know what, if you don't read or you don't have an idea about the food choices other people make, You might be inclined to think that you are probably the most healthy or the most unhealthiest, depending on what information you're gathering. And I don't think it's one or the other. I think my motto over here has always been to have balance. Okay, you can have a cake. If you had a cake every day in the week, go and see your doctor and keep an eye on your blood sugar. But are you going to fall down and die because your diet is cake? It depends. Genes are just weird. And some days I just think God is just too gracious to some people. Because there are people who eat all the wrong things. And there are people who have kept so healthy and yet they catch diseases. So I'm not telling you it's here or there. I'm just telling you as a Ghanaian, some of the choices we make that are just like everyday normal choices. And yet people think, oh, why are you being too precious? Like, I like Ghanaian soup. You can never make that thing into a can. Okay, let's just leave that can stuff over there. That's all. Let's see. Yeah, you know what, Lollipop, you're doing fine with your chickens. Well, you're the one with seagulls. Are you going to cook a seagull in your dinner? I think at some point, let's come back to the subject we were talking about budgeting. So yeah, the reason why I like my homemade pizza is because I'm trying to kind of keep an eye on the pennies. Because you know how much Domino's pizza costs? That rubbish is expensive, okay? Oh, in Essex, you can legally hunt for pheasants, partridges, and wow, certain mammals, rabbits. Lollipop, you had to take it there. Look at you with your air rifle running around hunting a deer. Lollipop, I knew you were badass, but not this kind. Okay. All right. Okay, if you people don't know what Lollipop has a bow and that. What hunter-gatherer Stone Age life do you have over there, Lollipop? Lollipop. I take it at this point, Lollipop. I've got tears in my eyes and my nose is running. Lollipop, you're the reason. Please stop. Lollipop, I don't suppose you're walking around in Essex like a Tarzan, because that would be problematic. Oh, God, my cheeks hurt, my head hurts because of the scarf. Lollipop, check Tapita out. Tapita, you're right. I'm just going to drink my tea and mind my business because suddenly I have come. I am finding out, look, when I think of Lollipop, I'm like, she lives by the sea. She has all the seagulls and the seabirds coming to her house. She's got a few birds that she pets. She's got a python for a pet. Now she's got a bow and an arrow. Whoo! Woo! Anyway, all I'm saying is I'm into bread making these days, okay? I made my own pizza for lunch. I made some mint sauce. And the people are going to have spaghetti for dinner. Lollipop, it's okay. You are just special and we love you for being special. We can't all be the same people, can't we? But it's always like exciting to get like, it's like peeling an onion and getting different layers. Like every time I hear something new about you, I'm like, okay, I could never imagine that about you. And that's just nice to know, okay? Tapeta. Tapeta. Tapeta going to go get more piercings. I am too chicken. I think the only piercings I have are like my earrings, like my ear holes here. Like the piercings obviously one was when I was a baby. And then the second one was many years ago when I came here. A friend of mine did it for me. So that's just but I'm too chicken to have, like the pain of a piercing is just like something I just don't want to think about. So not me. Right. So season, Steph is asking, will a bread maker make it easier or magic simply the way you make the dough itself? You know what? The bread maker is fun to have, but for what it is worth with bread making, if you really want to learn the science and art of it, learn to do it by hand. I will always, because come to think about it, bread is just about understanding it's a bit like cake, but in a very different way, because you have to understand how the dough works. And I thought, I'm a baker, but I'm not a bread maker. I can tell you that for sure. So the book I have is actually for complete beginners. So you see, you can always learn something new, you know. Even as a baker, I've never been good at bread making at all. It's not my area of expertise. I would rather buy bread easily than stress myself. But since I started making pizza for myself and I enjoyed it, I thought I might as well upgrade and see, because the pizza base is a version of bread actually, and it depends on what kind. It's sort of a version of flatbread, if you like. So I picked this book, and for the first time, just following the simple, I've actually not gone far in it. It's a new book anyway. And there you have it. Like I'm on this page 7, right? And yeah, I just looked at the first recipe that is there, which is on page 28, to make the pizza dough. And for the first time, I was really impressed with my dough. You know, if you really want to know what a beginner I am, you should go back and see the 2 mixer reviews I made. I didn't even know that if you're making any form of dough, you don't turn your mixer on high speed. It's mixed at, the dough is supposed to be kneaded at the lower speed, and I didn't know that. So the bread maker is helpful. It cuts time and it does the job for you, and you don't have to think about it. But if you really want to learn the art of bread making, it's important to know how to do it by hand. And it's actually very easy too. Anyway, so that is just by the way. So that's my new hobby, if you like, learning to make bread. I have filmed myself making focaccia and stuff like that, but maybe one of these days I'll film an episode of making bread, and then you'll see. Or we'll probably come to bread week where I will put the recipes to test. You know, because this is done by an author, I don't want to plagiarize their recipes, but just being able to utilize some of their recipes, a selection of them, so that I can recommend whether the book is worth the buy or not will be a good thing. So that's just something to know. It's bread making. Tapeta and Lollipop, behave, okay? That aside, yeah, the world has gone mad with the stresses and the cost of living crisis. But let's pray things get better. That's all. That's the only thing we can hope for. Just pray that it gets better. Because if it doesn't, the politicians are still making their money. They will still be rich. We will still be poor and hate each other. And that can't be a good thing. That's all. But otherwise, let's just try and save a thought for each other. Okay? There's nothing happening here. If you just happen to chance into the chat today and you wonder what we are doing, we are not doing much. We were supposed to come and do some Ganache tutorials, but that has fallen on the wayside. And I thought I'll pick up a seat, catch up with you, tell you about my bread making adventures, which I've told you, and then we threw away some moldy cake. That's what we're doing today. We can't always be all happy and excited, and even on my work table, I can't always. No, some days you just need to sit down and relax a little bit. Okay? Look at Tapeta and Lollipop talking about piercings. That's a subject I know nothing about, so I'm staying away from. Anyway, besides Tapeta and Lollipop in the chat, Steph, where my chicken? Where is my fried chicken? You had me drooling on my work table yesterday when I chanced on your fried chicken. So, and you promised to send me chicken. So, Steph, make sure you produce the chicken. I'm waiting. Okay? That's right, people. If you're just joining us, where are you joining us from? Tell us. We're curious to know where you're joining us from. What is the time where you are? And if you're meeting me for the first time, I am Gladys. I love cake. And over here, we make simple, informative tutorials about all things cake. And if you stick around, you will know we talk about cakes till dawn. Okay? Steph, that's convenient, isn't it? Ended up at the wrong address. Anyway, can you produce the address so that I can go to the address and collect my chicken? And if they have eaten my chicken, we will have problems. Okay? We will have some I will need to have a conversation about whoever that chicken landed, because that chicken looked very African American. Okay? That chicken just looked blackety black. You know, that chicken looked very seasoned. It looked spicy. It looks like it would be crunchy. I was sitting there, I'm like, Steph. Okay, that chicken. That's all. I think I'll be cancelled if I really told you what I was thinking about that, because that chicken looked good as fuck. Okay? Because I was like, oh. But that's just by the way. Okay? But the fact that you've delivered it to a new address is something I don't know. Okay? So for those of you who are just joining us, Where are you? Today we have just low energy. We're like, but we will make it work. Steph, stop. Okay, you are over here telling me the chicken looked so good you didn't want to mess it up by smothering it in gravy. Really, girl. I'll just sit here between you and Nicola. Between you and Nicola. Nicola is in Malaysia at the moment. She's having fun. But when she comes back, we'll see. Just save my chicken for me. Okay, that's all. Just be kind and save my chicken. For the rest of you in the chat, all 16 of you, where are you joining us from? Are you in the UK? Probably a few of you. The rest of you in the US, and the rest every part of the world. It's great to have you though. It is. Today I'm not over here shouting about baking and everything, because you know what? I have a very busy month. I have a 3-tier gravity defying cake to make, and it's a hexagon tier. Steph says, I'm not a fancy. You better be fancy, darling. Because who defines fancy, Steph? And what if you were fancy? If you were fancy, so what? Okay? If you were fancy, that's okay. And in fact, you could still be fancy in your own way. That's all. So don't try to dim your light down and say, oh, you're not just fancy, you're a what makes a regular person? Like, please be fancy. The world needs you to be fancy, Steph. Okay? Go do your fancy garden with your homestead activities. Come and cook us some good food. Tell us about your travel plans because you went away. That's all fancy people stuff. Okay? To be able to kind of like make your own choices about how you want to live your life. That's fancy by me. Okay? Okay, you want to show how affordable. Affordable is subjective. If you have 9 zeros after your first number, I am sure when you're buying a Lamborghini, you say, this is affordable. The only person say, this is not affordable is the person who has less zeros. So, Steph, please. I don't know what you mean by affordable because I don't know how many zeros you have. Okay? You see what I mean? Oh, Tapeta, you were supposed to go on a holiday and it got cancelled. Why? Why? Steph, yeah. Affordable is subjective. I'm sure when Elon Musk logs into his account, he must think buying half the world is affordable. And yet, us mere mortals out here are looking at a can of Coca-Cola and we're like, this is expensive. A funny joke someone once told me is, they said, do you realize for some rich people, going shopping, when they hand you their card to spend anything on it, you could buy a mansion and 6 cars. And that will be the equivalent of picking up £50 worth of groceries from a shop. And that should put it into perspective for you. Tabitha said, I could have 20 zeros in the bank and you'll find me buying off brands. And cars I can pay cash for. The holiday got cancelled because my birth certificate got lost. So I had to order a new one. By the time it got to me, I didn't have enough time to get the real ID to be able to fly. Steph, you're welcome. Yeah. You know what? Sometimes I don't think it's, I guess based on the conversation of what is subjective, I was just being fictitious. Is it facetious? Yeah, facetious, that's the word. English is not my first language. Okay. Right, I was just being facetious. But I was also trying to point out how easy we exist in a world where, but I think the conditioning is that I completely understood what you were saying. It wasn't pretentious or anything. You were trying to I almost outline a sense of relatability by saying, oh, you know, it's not that deep, and that, you know, and why should you even justify if the opposite was true about you? Why should you? Because the people who know you and should love you shouldn't have to make you explain who you are. Okay, so in the context of the conversation, I completely understand what you were saying, but I was also just trying to point out how easy it is for us to kind of shrink and fit in over here. Because stop and think to yourself for a minute. Completely understood what you're saying. So do you think it will make any difference if you were a fancy woman over here with a few different zeros hanging out with us here? Do you think your life, if you look at your core, do you think that would be any different? You will still probably be here if you chose to, for that matter. And matter of fact, none of us know the economic status of anybody else as we're interacting, as a matter of fact. We don't know. Anything else we know at the moment is based on assumption, because our interaction is very virtual. We don't know each other like that. So what if you lived on the Upper East Side of New York over here and you had a fancy lifestyle? Would you come and tell us, you know, even though I have this, you know, I am okay? No, just be a peacock, honey. But I know it's easier said than done. I know, especially when you are almost made to kind of shrink yourself, and I think shrinking yourself is not like deliberately conditioning you to be less than. It is just that sometimes the idea of the spotlight being on a person can almost be something to kind of like avoid, if you like. And I'm just saying, you know what? You are living a life, at least for what I see of you on the channel, you are living a life that some people would only ever dream of. Do you know what it takes for someone to kind of think, I'm traveling out of state, whether it's for a holiday or it's even to go visit family, whatever that looks like. That's something you seem to enjoy. You are out there doing your gardening. The last time I saw a video of yours, you were talking about your trip whilst like doing your thing over there and being a homemaker. That's amazing. Do you know what it takes to kind of go put on a camera about your life and have something to say to a world that is so judgmental? Steph, you be a peacock all you want, honey. You know what? I get what you mean. you know, like in a world where you don't want to share too much of yourself. But then here's the question. That is a very ideal and valid intention, because I mean, you've hung out here enough to know that I talk about my experience here, that this place is scary and it's a dark place and you should be careful of what you share about yourself. But here's the question. Who is detecting those rules? You know, who? Who is really detecting those rules about what you can share and what you can't share? It's all down to you. And matter of fact, if you decided to come on the internet and spill all your guts over here, you will, as much as you will have a lot of criticism, you will still have a fair amount of support from people. You will always find your kind in the crowd. It's just that sometimes our own fears hold us back. And our own fears also exist in a space where we have to actually own the fact that maybe our fear is irrelevant to what we are actually thinking. Talk about that. I was actually thinking about that a lot this week. Funny you said that, because as a Ghanaian, right? I said this last week, that part of our our cultural conditioning is almost conditioned to feel shame about every and anything that doesn't necessarily fall into societal norms, which is okay. There's a reasonable argument to be made for that, because you don't want to be a deviant in society, for sure. But in my culture, it extends beyond just deviance and subservience to social norms. It almost goes towards having to kind of preserve yourself in the hope that you don't upset another person. So my culture really doesn't tolerate somebody who speaks up, stands up for themselves. That's just no. You cannot do that. And if you are if you're a girl or a woman like myself who has a voice and you are very expressive, you are actually made to feel that there's a conversation. I don't know how to kind of it's a very complex and nuanced subject, and I have to do well by not generalizing the point I'm trying to make. So that's why you can see me trying to catch my thought. But for instance, for someone like me, who typically has a platform, has a lot to say, and it's not that I'm hurting anybody or doing something wrong. It's just that I may appear as though I am self-assured, which is not really true in all the decisions I make about my life. Normally, older people in my society will tell me, if you don't tone that behavior of yours down, no man will marry you. And it's a thing. Somebody would go out of their way. Like this older women will invite you for a whole chat and talk to you about how you need to humble him. It's wrapped up as humble yourself and be, I don't know, be meek just so that a man can want you. How messed up is that in a society? You know? So even with that intention, I have grown up. As much as, look, I have made a conscious choice that my life here is about cakes. And that's a privilege, because I am so aware that not everybody has that. Some people just want the attention and spotlight for the fact that it is something that probably pays. I don't know. People have different reasons for wanting this attention. Quite frankly, I have just learned to embrace what has come with the fact that I made a choice to share something that was valuable to me, which is that I had a God-given skill and I had to practice. And part of the practice of growing and becoming a person, my own person, is showing up here. And I am just humbled by the fact that nearly 10,000 of you make a choice every day of the week at some point to come and engage with me. That never gets old for me. But I also came to this at a very later stage of my life where I have lived. Like, to not have life experience and to be thrown into a world where you don't know what you're doing is very problematic. And I remember Mrs. Obama ever saying that the blessing of her and her husband being the president was that they had a lived experience long before the spotlight happened. And so they were able to define their own, like, their own value, if you like, because fame can be a very confusing concept over here. And I'm not famous by any stretch of the imagination, but it's a different kind of feel when you feel like what you are doing is being observed by a lot of people, even if it's an audience of 2 people on the other side. Just the concept that what you are doing is being observed by people can be a little bit, you know. So as a matter of fact, if you see my excitement, it's Albert. It's just that I am just like, his dad doesn't want Albert having any more cakes. So when dad sees me, dad literally runs off and then tells the boy to come. So I didn't want to get up. So yeah, is it a good thing to be cautious about what you share on the internet? Yes, because it's a very unsafe place. I was actually having a conversation with my niece one of these days, and I said to her, and this is how I thought, I was thinking about it. I was like, you know what? There are so many people in this world who have different ways of communicating. I mean, for instance, if we zero in on the subject that now there is a lot of awareness on neurodiversity and the complexities that comes with that, the way people process information, the way people understand things. It's not so much centered on the fact that it's not so much the concept of neurodiversity is not a limitation anymore, as much as it presents challenges in a world that has been built on neurotypical skills and neurotypical validation. It's almost difficult for neurodiversity to exist on the same ability, but it doesn't mean being neurodiverse limits you by any stretch of the imagination. But on the flip side of that conversation is also acknowledging the complexities of that. And so on the internet, come to think about it, if you had 10 people at workplace and you had 2 people who were neurodiverse who required a different form of communication, which is not oral communication, but probably needed communication tools to assist them. I mean, we've heard people with autism say some people cannot process social cues, and some of the non-verbal communication that are really readily understood by neurotypical people. It's not the same for autism or people with some forms of autism, and this is not all autism cases. So I say that to say, when you're on the internet and you are aware that you exist in this space where all sorts of people could be listening to you, and all of these people are not receiving exactly what you are saying to them in the way your neurotypical person may perceive a conversation, a context, or the relative subject matter you are discussing. So sometimes the drama that evolves out of the internet comes from the way people process information. And outside of how people process and interpret information is also people's weird proclivities, like people's obsessions about the assumptions they project on you. The internet is a dark place. It is. Everybody exists here, but you don't know how people show up on the internet. So should you be cautious about what you share? Yes, but it shouldn't stop you actually living in a space where you feel content, you feel safe, because you know what you and I will always agree on, what safety looks like. Okay, as much as there's a lot of subjectiveness on some subject matter and belief system and values, there are some things that are just generally standard and accepted on all aspects of the spectrum, which is that you and I know what safety looks like. So is it very safe for you to go and put some very intimate information of yourself out there? Perhaps you might want to do that because you have good reason to do that. But we both know that when it comes to safety, that may not be safe, because that may expose you to some random person seeking you out, and it might lead to issues for you. So on that basis, I think there are other areas of the conversation where self-censoring and being cautious and exercising wisdom, discretion, all matters. But it shouldn't stop you from living your life in its truest form with contentment and safety. So I say that and come back to the subject of what I was thinking all week. For instance, when I was this week thinking about where I exist on the internet, I'll tell you something random but true about me. I overthink things a lot. I do. So because I overthink things, for instance, I'm typically the person who, like, I'll give you an example just to reflect what I'm saying. When I tell you, I know I love cakes and I make my cakes as best as I can, okay? I don't sit in my house, even on my best day, and believe that I make the most awesome cake. No. I still have a sense of insecurity about a cake. And until a customer picks up a cake from my table, goes and eats the cake and sends me a lovely message, I assume that the cake is like, I haven't heard from them. Maybe they didn't like the cake. That's my default setting. And I've been doing this for over 10 years. And I've only, including Sandra, had 2 experiences where someone literally, 3 actually, including Sandra. So there was the man who showed up at my house about his cake. There was Sandra. And these are like oddities, right? And then there was a genuine one where the bride didn't know what the issue was with the cake. We both didn't know. And eventually I gave her a whole new cake. We have remained cordial. So in 10 years and 3 complaints, 2 being odd issues and one being she didn't say the cake was bad or anything. Like, we both couldn't determine what caused the issue, and I just decided to kind of like refund, and they're like, no, we don't want a refund. Like, I haven't had the worst experience ever, but somehow 10 years and counting, I still hide under my table like a chicken when the cake goes out, because I'm like, are they gonna like it? Are they gonna like it? Are they gonna... I say that to say that I am very self-critical in a very unhealthy way. But I also have a sense of awareness to know that is not real, okay? Because if people don't send you feedback about the cake, it doesn't mean the cake is bad. It's because they probably enjoy. In fact, people will complain if it wasn't great. They will come back to you and let you know very quickly that the cake wasn't good at all. And probably the only reason I haven't heard from them is because they enjoyed your cake. They're like, well, the reason why we came to you was because somebody recommended you and we think the cake is good. And that's it. And they're gone. But you see, I am inclined to kind of think, oh, what are they thinking? So because of my self-critical nature, my interactions on the internet have been like, for me to be able to email a person or respond to a text, look, that has taken a lot out of me, because I'm thinking, I don't know if I'm going to say the right thing. I almost like go in over my head before I even put a message out. So I am not available on the internet like that. I will talk to you. We will chat over here. When I'm done, I go over here and go live my life. Like, no, I'm not available on the internet like that. But it's not to say I'm preserving my own safety. It's like I just have some tendencies that work against me, because I will sit here and worry too much about what I probably said in an email that I'm not sure if it landed with you right. Does that make sense? So I say that to say this week, when I was thinking about how I exist on the internet, I realized there is so much content I want to do about other things, especially on TikTok, because TikTok does give you room to kind of be a bit open, because the platform allows a very informal way of communicating. And I realized that my existence on YouTube is very formal. The lives have grown into a very informal relationship with you guys. But if you watch my content, they're very formal. Like, I'm talking about cakes, it's very structured, it's voiceover, it's scripted. There's nothing outside of just talking for the sake of talking. And this week, when I was thinking about it, I realized, where did that come from? Why am I so concerned about scripting my voiceover and just making sure I don't deviate? And it comes from just the conditioning I told you. I don't want to say the wrong thing, because if you give me the microphone without the script, I fear I will veer off and say the wrong thing, which is weird because we are sat here and where's the script? There isn't. So my point is this: there are so many things. If you sat there and you kept telling yourself this cannot be this, you are not living. And some days you just have to do the thing and see where it lands you. That's all. But whatever you do, exercise wisdom, discretion, and be safe. That's it. That's the internet. Well, I am glad it was an unintentional therapy because you know what? Sometimes we women, we just need to hold each other and hug each other and encourage each other. That's all. Because women, we have it bad, okay? The men are not good to us generally, okay? Let's not start. And this is not me man hating, by the way. Let's be clear, okay? Let's be clear. Most of you have loving relationships and you're happy in your lives. I'm not man hating, but can we, unless you met your husband when you were 12, which would be very illegal, but you know what I mean, unless you met him and he was the only guy you ever met and so far you've had 4 kids and your life is so happy, before you met the husband, I'm sure you have a story of somebody treating you so poorly. Okay, we all do, okay? My point is, the men don't treat us good a lot of the time. And then society judges us and puts a lot of responsibility on us. And then we have to go and have babies. And then we have to pour into these babies. And yet we have to pay our 50-50 bill on the day. That's not, I will never relate to that life. I'm not paying. Okay? This is expensive. That's all. I'm not doing it. 50-50. Like what? You are texting me to come for a date and I have to pay for... No. No. Okay? If somebody come and click this and cancel me because I said no. And when I say this is expensive, I don't mean my face is expensive. You can see, call me whatever you want. But getting up to put makeup on, to buy that dress and put that shoe on and strout out of my house is fucking expensive. So no. No. And this is not entitlement. Okay? This is not entitlement. If I want to get dressed and go out with my mates, we can go do that. And if you want to hang out with me on the basis that we want to be friends, I don't mind that. But don't tell me you care, you want to explore something immaterial. It's something so invaluable as the possibility or finding love with, because you know what? Even if you paid on that day, the value you will always get from me as a woman will never match the money you paid. And that's not me saying that I'm too special, because women, we will always, God made us to give more of ourselves in so many ways that money. So this business of 50 will go away, I don't want go away, that's all. Now I've said a bit too much on the internet. Yeah. So, like I'm saying, Steph, I'm glad I didn't plan for this to be an unintentional therapy. Look, today it was like, but women, we need to look after each other. We need to hold each other. We need to encourage each other. We need to be honest with each other sometimes. Because sometimes, you know what? A woman's opposition is another woman. Because women, oh, we are horrid to each other. However, I say that, and I say, I am so blessed to have like a group of women in you who are so like giving and so kind. So yeah, good vibes. You're late to the party, honey. How are you? And where have you been? Where have you been? We missed you. Well, if you didn't know good vibes, Streusel, we threw Streusel away, our little doggy, and our steak cake is gone now. We'll be making some more. We'll give it a few minutes and yeah. So Steph, chin up. You're doing just fine. You will always find your crowd on the internet, and that's something I know from experience, because the fears I had when I first started to come and sit here for a whole hour, not have a script and not be sure what I'm talking about, and still be talking to you and still keep yapping. Look, you will do just fine. Okay, so group hugs, people. Let's look after each other. Let's hold each other's hand, and for that, Tapita, I hope you reschedule your travel plans and the chaos that is evolving over there in your part of the world. I hope things get better and life gets back to normal. It's coming up to Christmas. Everybody is anxious. Let's keep the space. Oh, good vibes. You don't need to apologize, honey. I mean, we should be the sideshow. If you're spending time with family, hello, some good food and good chat, and switch the phone off. That's all. Great to have you though, but sis, I've got to go, people. I've got to go. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Come back, sit with us. Lots of love. Take care. Bye.